And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, today we're taking a look at Lords and Ladies. Now, Lords and Ladies is game 13 in the Gryphon bookshelf series, which has produced some amazing games in the past. There was For Sale, which is one of the best games. There was Ink and Gold and things. So this is the number 13. The box looks a little boring, but essentially this game is a card game in which you control a turn of the 20th century noble family and their servants. You're trying to raise your family status through careful marriages, hiring servants, and having children, and gossiping against your other neighbors at the same time. So it's a card game, having kids. Let's take a look at it. At the beginning of the game, each player will take a lord or a lady, and then you name them. These are like boards, you can write on them, so I'll call this guy Lord Vader, as everyone has ever done. So there's always a Lord Vader in the games, and Lady Godiva. Alright, so I'm going to pick one of them. So I'll start with Lady Godiva. Now this shows me points she's worth, and this shows how good she is at having kids. You're going to keep track of how many points you have, and you're going to keep track of that over here. You'll also notice there's 3 resources down here. Some of these are fame. These are worth victory points, essentially. You can buy them for 6 gold. That's what the yellow is. And then these pink are gossip tokens, and you want to collect those when you play gossip cards. Now on your turn, the first thing you will do each turn is you will either get 2 gold or you will draw a gossip card. Then you can do one more action, which will either be take a 3rd gold, try to have a kid, marry somebody, hire a servant. So those are the different things you can do. Now, marrying is the easiest thing to do. So we'll go up here. You have 2 decks of cards here. This is a servant deck, and these are the possible suitors deck. And so I'm going to pick someone for Lady Godiva to marry. Now, she can marry Mr. Pembleton. He's worth no points, but he's pretty good at having kids. Or she can buy Lord Hanson, who's only worth 2 points, also pretty good at having kids. You know what? She's going to buy him. However, since his status is higher than hers, his was a 2 and she's only a 1, then I'm going to have to pay a gold for the difference because, I mean, come on now. So they're married. Hooray! Now they can start having kids. So on a future turn, my action can be having kids. I add their 2 hearts together. That's a 5. I roll. If I roll that number or less, they have a child. I draw a child from this top deck of, these are basically cards just like this, and they have a child. Now once you have a child, you can have multiple children if you want, and these children can get married. But once one of these children gets married, so let's say here I have Lord Vasel, okay, that's his name, and he gets married to Duchess Jane. Once they're married, then this generation can no longer have kids or anything. This generation can have kids. You don't have to marry people off, but that's how that works. Now you can see that Lord Vasel and Duchess Jane are going to have a really hard time having kids because they're going to need to roll a 1 on the die to do so. Another thing you can do on your turn is you can buy a servant. Now servants can also give you victory points, you see here, but they give you special abilities. Like this here adds 1 to all your couple's combined birth points. So I got a nanny here. She can help Vasel and Jane have kids. This overseer, he gets, instead of taking 2 gold each turn, he gets 3 gold. This lady's maid, each female offspring that you have gives you an extra status, of an extra point. So there's that. Now, another thing you're trying to do is you're trying to get these 3 cards here. These 3 cards are out there. This card goes to the first person who has the servants, more than 3 servants. If you have more than 3 servants, you get this and it's worth 3 points. If you have more than 5 servants, you'll get an extra 3 points. This person, whoever gets the most gossip, gets, once you have 2 points, whoever's most gossip gets this card. If you have more than 4, you get an extra 3 points. This one, you want to have the 3 generations, greater than 3, and this one greater than 5. Now, these cards will be passed around. You can steal these cards from other people, and it will be marked down here. But let's talk a bit about gossip. Now, players are going to be drawing gossip cards. The way gossip works is there are 4 different kinds of gossip cards, or 5, I'm sorry. You can play a financial ruin on somebody else, which can make them lose all their money. you can play a drunken servant, which basically gets rid of a servant card that someone else has. You can have an illegitimate child, where you pick someone's child that was just born and it's gone. You can pick bedroom problems, which makes all your birth points for a player reduced by 4 for one round. Or forbidden love, where you basically pick a servant and marry that servant to somebody. And again, the servants have birth points too. Now, none of these work at all by themselves. If I play a card on someone else, let's say I play the drunken servant to get rid of one of your servants, it doesn't work unless another player also plays a drunken servant. See, now the rumor has been confirmed, and it happens. There's also cards in the gossip deck that just simply say, true, and they confirm any gossip card. Whenever you do gossip, remember you get a gossip token. The person who is being gossiped against can pay each of the players who's played a card 3 gold each and make those cards go away and not happen. So the game will continue until one player reaches 18 points. After the end of that round, whoever has the most points is the winner status. Now, one of the odd things that this game did is it actually includes, you have these cards that the different people, Lady Suzanne here, for example, and she has different artwork. But the game also has a small expansion which has different styles of artwork. Like here's John Peppers and Sophia Wolf and Victor Roger. And these people just look different. Like here's Lady Lee. They have a different style to them. It's just a kind of an odd thing. But anyhow, this game is going to be tongue-in-cheek. Really it is. I mean, it's the laughter and the joking and the gossiping and the oh my and Downtown Abbey humor, I guess, if Downtown Abbey is humorous. But some people probably will not like that. It does feel weird to me to be like rooting there going, don't have a kid, don't have a kid. You know, just an odd thing to be rooting for. But the theme is there. The game has kind of a very stark look to it, but it's obviously meant to be funny. The gameplay itself is, well, terrible. I don't know any other way to put it. It sounded interesting when I got out. Like, oh, okay, you can pick people and have kids. There's another game that's very similar to this theme-wise, and that's Legacy, which is a much, much better game than this one. But you have kids and hire servants, which give you special abilities. Actually, the whole game itself isn't so bad. I mean, you take gold, you take another action, but it's those gossip cards. And those gossip cards are the heart of the game. And they're just awful because they're really easy to play. And you can constantly be, you know, let's say for some reason, my only couple left because of a servant marrying or something, I need to roll a 2 or less. So I roll the die 5 turns in a row. That's all I do. I say take 2 gold or a gossip card, and then I roll the dice. And I keep failing, and I finally succeed, and then people play, oh, sorry, illegitimate child, and the child goes away. That's the definition here of a take that game where you play cards. And the idea of playing a rumor card and then having someone else confirm it is a good idea, but it just doesn't work, and it drags the game out. Because this is how it works. It's like, oh, here's Tom. He's winning. Smack him down. Hey, there's Bob. He's winning. Smack him down. Here's Sam. He's winning. Smack him down. And it's just not a very fun game. The timing is weird too. I mean, you can play a rumor card after something happens. How long do people have to wait on this? The rule book is written okay. It explains things, but it just, I don't know. I guess if you look at this game in a very, very, very low level base, where you look at it and say, I'm just here to play fun and play cards with each other and laugh, that's fine. But to me, the end game just really slogs down, where people are constantly smacking each other, and the smacking leader down until finally somebody pulls ahead and everybody is glad. I mean, the game encourages you to play these rumor cards because it gives you tokens for them, so why wouldn't you? And I don't know. It's a slog fest. The humor runs out pretty quickly for me because it's the same 4 jokes over and over and over and over again. Yeah, this one is a pass for me. Dice Tower Judgment. Blah.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool Stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Schließlich die Tür!